Okay. Hi, guys. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you. Thank you all so much. So much for joining me today. I'm Sarah Diligence here at Purposeful Life. And today we have an extremely interesting topic. And it's one that really just caught my attention. And it's something that I personally feel is really dear to me, because again, as a mother, as a wife, as a sister, and as a friend to many, many women, this particular topic is one that a lot of us need to be talking about and also be aware about. So I really just feel like this topic today, again, one is to raise awareness, okay, and for us as women to just freely discuss on this platform our views and our experiences as well at the same time on how things have been for us in the past, those of us that have had children. If you're pregnant now as well, this would be a really interesting topic for you as well, because again, it's about induction, and I'm sure you're definitely going to benefit on ways to, I guess, make sure you're not induced for no apparent reason. Okay. I've got two wonderful guests who are extremely dear to me. I have got my two wonderful sisters here today. Sister Robbie and Sister Emma. Okay, can you guys hear? Is everyone? Oh, there we go. Is everyone unmuted?
Yes.
Hi everyone.
Yes.
Hi.
Okay. All right, guys. Right. Okay. So, Rob, you can just introduce yourself, and then Ems, you can introduce yourself as well.
Okay. Hi everyone. Good evening. My name is Robbie. Mother of 4 children. Qualified teacher. That's me. Homeschooling mum.
And a woman of extremely diverse birth experiences. This lady has had birth journeys that some of you are definitely going to be interested in. Okay, so she's definitely going to be extremely valuable for us here today. Sister Emma.
Hi, as already said, my name's Emma, mother of 3 children, currently expecting number 4. And yeah, I'm just passionate about birthing and positive birth experiences. That's something I'm really passionate about, people experiencing a positive birth journey.
Yes.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, guys, now I do have to say, okay, this is my first live stream with guests. Okay, I'm kind of new to the whole thing, but so bear with me, bear with us as well. And I just really want you to enjoy this session. And the way I want you to enjoy this session is by sharing your comments and by writing in the comment section, and just continue to encourage each other. Let's just build this community as we discussed today. Right. So ladies, okay. So the minute when I read the article, it's so funny because Ems was trying to say to me the day before I actually read this article, she was like, sis, can you believe it? I was so busy. I was not even paying any attention to what she was saying. I just kind of heard something about inductions and 39 weeks. I was like, huh? And then the following day, I got on my phone and I saw the article, and my emotions just ran wild. And I got the two of them on the phone and I was like, oh my gosh, is this what you was trying to tell me, Sister Emma? Oh my days. And it's just Rob is like, what are you guys talking about? But it's definitely something that we all have knowledge in this particular area. Definitely about so anyway, let me ask you, so the topic is about, are we being racially profiled? Okay. And not just are we being racially profiled, are we, as an ethnic minority, as they say, are we being targeted by certain institutions as women? Okay. When it comes to particular things like, I mean, I've said this on previous conversations, when it comes to things like abortions, every woman's got free right, everyone's got free will, do what you want. They're bringing rules and regulations in now that are saying, in New York, they've passed a bill saying that women can abort at 9 months, that's full term, and it's still her choice. However, we are now dealing with a situation where women who want to carry and women who want to become mothers are now being targeted in a particular area. Okay. And it's not just that we're being targeted in a particular area, it's now boiling down to a racial issue. And this is what really caught my attention. Because for most people who know me in my personal life, when it comes to race, I'm not really like one of those people that are like, oh, you know, da 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 da. I see everyone the same. God made us all in his image. He created us all in his likeness. There is no difference between me and another sister, you know. So for me, you know, I don't normally like play that whole race card, but this particular topic and scenario hit hard because one, I'm a mother of 4 myself. 2, I have daughters. 3, I'm surrounded by women on a daily basis who are actually going through particular situations. And I'm not going to say it's because of their race that they're going through these particular situations. However, they are pregnant or they were pregnant and certain things happened to them. Okay. So that's, you know, that's just kind of for us to open the platform. Do any of you ladies want to kind of just, you know, chime in and just, you know, say something on the topic that we're going to be discussing today?
Yeah, I don't mind speaking first. I found that the main issue that seems to be arising prior to this whole law thing was that there's a higher mortality rate with women of color.
That's
and
right.
So from my personal experience, what was being said was that it was the level of care that's the issue. And I can resonate with that because I remember the level of care I got after birth. I remember it wasn't the same as everyone else on the ward, and I remember it wasn't the same as what I'd seen. So for me, I just feel like the main issue is not being targeted with this new law that's come out. And like Emma said, like I desire for women to have really good experiences of pregnancy. For me, my pregnancies were really good, but it was the aftermath that kind of has left a bad taste in my mouth. And it has nothing to do with the babies. It had nothing to do with my body. It was to do with the hospitals and the aftercare. So I think it's a big issue. And I think that the law that's trying to come out now does not in any way, shape or form address the issue at hand at all. And I think that's my issue with it. It's like you lot are not even hearing what the issue is. So yeah.
Lovely. Thank you, Robbie. Emma?
Yeah, similar to what Robbie said, just off the back of that, I feel like it's a similar or in fact the exact same scenario, whereas people are dying, they are saying there's a higher mortality rate, there is problems, and this does need to be addressed. And even on the back of the whole Black Lives Matter protest, a lot more statistics came out, a lot more things came to light about incarceration numbers in ethnic minorities, crime rates in ethnic minorities, fatherlessness in households, and sickness, and then mortality rate of childbirth. Why are they living in the same area, in the same district, yet have a higher mortality rate, going to the same hospital, seeing the same midwives, but are dying? And instead of addressing this from the ground up, they've decided, we're going to go on the back end of this and decide that, this is how we're going to address it. And I feel like it's just a lot of fluff around the area, and it's not actually, as Robbie said, addressing the matter at hand.
Yeah. And I definitely think for me that was one of the reasons that I was like, no, I definitely feel like we have to speak out on this particular issue, because you know, there are ways for particular institutions to address certain matters, and it always seems as if these matters are not being addressed how they should be. They're now targeting, you know, a particular race on this. So one of the things that I thought about, so I said to myself, okay, so what are they going to do for the not the ethnic minority in a sense, for the whites and the Turkish, which race that they're not putting into this category, okay? How are they going to tackle their mortality issues? You get what I'm trying to say? And they're not saying these things. While I was doing something, it says that Black women are 5 times more likely to die during childbirth in the UK and the US, you know, and the source was from Risk Through Audit and Confidential Inquiries. This was in the UK in 2018 and during 2018 and 2019. Now, for me, I mean, personally, I don't know anyone that has passed away, you know, during childbirth. Thank God, you know, thank God. I don't know anyone that's passed away during childbirth. However, I'm sure that there are, I'm sure there definitely are women who have, okay? Now, the main reason for us to really jump on this and talk today is about the fact that they would like to begin to induce us at 39 weeks. Okay, inducing us as 39 weeks. So I want us to tackle a few, a few things here. So I want us to talk about cultural care. Okay, how would you describe your care when you was pregnant? Any one of the pregnancies? There's like between us, there's like how many pregnancies? Oh my goodness, 444.
Like 17, isn't it?
Like, you get what I'm saying? So, ladies, if you're watching, okay, I've had 4, Robbie's had 4, and Ems is on part 4. Okay, so between all of us, we've had pregnancies of different experiences, And again, like Sister Robbie said, I just want to thank God that my pregnancies were always good. Funny enough, not funny enough, but I've had 5 pregnancies actually, to be, if I could just shed some light. And in 2007, we did lose our son due to the health issues and things like that. So, and then this is where I will open this conversation with about cultural care, okay? Because I truly believe that if my son was treated with a much higher standard of care, if we were regarded with a lot more patience, if they had taken patience with us, if they were a lot more caring, a lot more considerate to the situation that we were facing, we truly believe that our son would have had a much better survival rate than he ended up having. He ended up having an infection due to negligence. It was just sheer negligence, on the hospital's behalf. So he ended up passing away 3 days later, being he was extremely sensitive to the environment. He was getting used to breathing on his own, and then all of a sudden, I remember going into the ward, into the ward, and saying to themselves, "Why is my son not covered? All the other babies in here are covered in their little in their cubicles. They're all covered, but my son's not covered. Why is he exposed? Like, he can catch a cold." I remember saying, like, he could get cold, and they said, oh, he's fine. He's a big, like, he was quite bigger than all the other babies. So, and they were like, oh, he's fine. And then so that was the day before. And then the following day we went to see him. They were like, sorry. And they kind of, the whole drama, can't go in, we've got some news. And they ended up, telling us to go back to our room. And then the doctors came in, and the doctors then said, Mr. Kim, we just want to let you know that, Nathan's passed away, this happened, that happened. They're not sure what happened. However, moving on with the story, when they did the autopsy and all that kind of stuff, they found that he'd caught an infection, a chest infection, which could have been caused by whether it's pneumonia or something like that. Now, cultural care. I mean, I've never sat down and said, okay, if my son was a different race, would he have been treated differently? Okay, I've never said that. However, it hasn't crossed my mind. It's crossed my mind, excuse me, right? It has crossed my mind. And, when going on to this topic and talking about how we as women of an ethnic minority are being cared for during pregnancy, after pregnancy, okay, how are our babies being looked after? So for me, I feel like I can definitely relate to some degree on this particular topic here about cultural care. I remember going for my first birth, and I had these midwives, and they just didn't treat me. I don't feel I had the right treatment, basically. I don't feel I was treated properly, to be fair. Everything was rushed, broke your waters without telling me they were going to break my water. Then before you knew it, because they broke my water, my baby went into distress. Before you knew it, they said, oh, the baby's in distress. We don't take her out now. If we don't take the baby out now, because I didn't know it was a girl, if we don't take the baby out now, anything can happen. We have to have an emergency C-section. And my mum was in there going, no, you're not going to give her a C-section. I had a C-section, it's bad for you. And they were like, listen, listen, Miss Monaville, now's not the time. And they, they were just kind of going back and forth. And I was just like, I was in distress.
Yeah.
straight up
Yeah.
distress.
Of course.
Okay, there was no consideration for me. There was no consideration for, my situation. It was just, oh, baby's in distress, sorry, we broke her waters, let's get this baby out, she's been here long enough now, we want to get her out and get her home, kind of thing. So that's kind of that's my small experience on, well, I wouldn't say small, but for some, I thank God I've healed over time. Healing has come, healing's taken place, and God has strengthened myself and my family, and we've been able to move on. However, losing a child is extremely, it's extremely, it's hard. It's extremely hard. But then having that baby pass away due to no fault of your own or the baby's own, and it's down to the hospital, you can kind of see where I'm going here with this, right?
Course.
So, I mean, feel free to. So, what would you guys say? How was your experience regarding cultural care? Let's discuss this as pregnant women and mothers that have been through, the system of maternity care.
Sorry, I was going to speak, Ems.
No, I was just going to ask, how far along were you when they recommended that they break your waters with your first child?
Okay, yes, I think I was like 4 centimeters dilated, and they said, oh, you've been 4 centimeters for hours now, oh, let's break your waters and see if we can help you progress.
That's
so that was that. Ladies, if you're watching this, those are some of the key words. Let's see if we can help you to progress. Okay, if you want to stay away from having a C-section, you definitely have to learn certain key words that they will be using. 100%. Okay, so yes. Sister Robbie, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, for me, the most memorable experiences I had were with my first and my third child. Both pregnancies were fine. I did, with baby number 1, I did develop something they call obstetric cholestasis, where you get itchy hands and feet. And it was something to do with like the liver flushing out what it needed to flush out, whatever. But they kind of immediately, it was like this fear. Oh my gosh, obstetric cholestasis, that can produce stillbirths, and we don't know why it causes that, so we have to induce you now. And I think I was like 34 weeks.
Wow.
So literally, because my blood sugar or my blood salt levels or something like that were high, I had to go there twice a week to get a blood test and see if the levels were changing. So I got a blood test on a Monday. It was when I went back on a Thursday, I'd have to get the results for the Monday and get another blood test on the Thursday. So they took the blood test on the Thursday, but gave me my results for the Monday, and were like, some woman came up to us, we're sitting down, she was like, hi, my name's Rebecca. Just wanted to let you know, we're going to induce you today, and that you just need to prepare because you're going to have your baby today. And my husband was like, excuse me? And he was like, you're going to induce who today? He was like, yeah, we're going to induce your wife today because her blood levels of salt or whatever Monday was so high. And look, she's at risk of having a stillbirth. And he said, look, let me give you some advice. Don't ever tell people what you're going to do with their body. And she's like, oh, no. I was just making a suggestion because, that's what we had advised. And he said, you didn't come and make a suggestion. You came and told us that you're going to induce my wife today. That's not happening. And he was like, and I remember feeling so shocked, like, you can't tell this woman what she's not going to do with me. What do you mean? Like, I was probably like, Samuel, no, like, she wants to induce me.
She knows best. She knows best. Exactly. She's the medical professional. Yeah, that's right. And that's and that's our stance a lot of the times, isn't it? When we're in these situations, we always kind of, and I was just about to say, it's such a blessing that you have a husband that was able to speak up for you. Because many women don't have husbands that are going to speak up for them because they, the same way a woman thinks, oh, this is the medical professional, she knows best or they know best. It's the same way a lot of husbands, they have that approach as well. Sorry, I thought I just had that.
It's true. And it was literally because my husband said, no, I'm going to go and pray and find out what God's saying. And he came back and he said he heard the word natural, and he said, an induction's not natural, so we're going home. Wow. So I said, cool, like, all right, if God spoke, I ain't arguing, like, we're going home. That was at 34 weeks. 2 weeks later, first of all, I got my results for the Thursday blood test that they did, the day they were going to induce me, and my blood salt levels had dropped right down.
Wow.
So she would have
Wow.
induced me based upon Monday's results, not knowing that
Yeah.
Thursday's results were
Today's
perfect. That I had
results.
no issues, and I wasn't experiencing
Right.
any itchiness at this point. Like it's like like my body had just eradicated it, and that made sense because we'd been praying.
Amen.
So then 2 weeks later, it was one day before I was 37 weeks. So one day later, I would have been classed as full term. My
Wow.
waters broke, and I went to hospital, told them I'm 36 weeks plus 6 days, and they were like, premature baby, premature. And I'm like, I'm one day away from full term. Like, it's not premature. No, premature.
Yeah.
And I'd already said to them from the beginning of this pregnancy, I don't want any artificial anything with my pregnancy. I don't want it. So don't induce me. I will not be asking for induction. Do not induce me. And they were like, "Hey, that's fine. We respect your choices. It's your body." And I was like, "Oh, first time I'm hearing this during this pregnancy because it felt so forced by the professionals." And I think my waters broke at 4:30 in the morning. I got to the hospital about 6, and by 12, they were like, "Oh, you're not contracting enough. So we're just going to give you a little something to help you along with the contractions." And I said, "Oh, what is it?" "Oh, they gave it some name." And it wasn't a name I recognized, but because they said, "Oh, it just helps with contractions,"
Right.
I didn't assume it was induction. All I said to them was, "Just don't induce me." They said, "No." I said, "I do not want to be induced." And they were like, "No." And I remember suddenly, after receiving whatever they gave me, I remember the pain, and I wasn't experiencing any pain. That's another thing. I had no pain. And I was from 6 o'clock in the morning till 12 in the afternoon. I was being told, just take painkillers, have some pain relief. You shouldn't have to experience this. You don't have to experience this pain. I'm saying, no, I'm cool. Like, I'm not in pain. Like this, like light period pains. I'm cool. I can handle this.
Yeah.
I've had
So did you feel like did you feel like they were trying to force you to take some kind of something into your system just because
it felt like,
or what was it?
It felt like if they could hold me down and say take it, they would, but they knew they couldn't. So instead, it was this constant take some pain relief. Come on, you don't have to deal with this. And it was like literally every 10 minutes, maybe. And I'm like, I'm good. And then finally, they were like, "Oh, take some gas in there then, because I know you don't like drugs, but come on, gas in there is fine." So I was like, "Oh, okay, to cut this woman up, let me take gas in there." Took it, and I remember feeling sick, and I said, "I can't do that. I can't. No, I don't want none of that stuff. I don't want it. I'm fine." But then it's like 12 o'clock. This pain kicked in. And I was like, this pain don't feel natural. Like this pain, I can't do this. Like this pain, I can't handle this. Lord, I don't get it. Like I was so confused because I was like, I know women do this on a regular. Women give birth. But why does this pain feel unbearable? I don't get it. Yeah. And basically, the next day, our daughter arrived, well and healthy, looking like a full-term baby.
Naturally.
Yeah, and
praises.
But I actually ended up getting an epidural because the pain was just too much. I was like, I need it. And my husband's going, "No, we can do all things through Christ." I'm like, "Yeah, but not this. I need it. And it wasn't until our second pregnancy that I found out that I was actually induced with baby number 1, and I hadn't been told. And I'm going, "No, I wasn't induced. No, you got it wrong." They're going, "It's on your notes." And I'm like, "No, you don't understand. I asked not to be induced. I told them I don't want to be induced." They said, "That's fine." They're like, "No, you were induced." And I'm like, "Really?" Like, so that's why the pain was so unbearable in my mind, because it, like, I'd been induced and wasn't even made aware of it. And to be honest, I could have sued them for that, but I didn't. And I think that's another issue with people of color. We don't really push further and hold these people accountable.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. I would definitely agree on that statement that you just made. I truly believe that when certain things happen, it could be a faith thing, it could be a race thing, it could be a thing of, oh my gosh, do I really want to bother with this? And I remember when we lost Nathan, and I remember people were like, "You have to sue that hospital, you've got every right to sue them." I remember they were like, I even remember saying, "Oh, we can send something to the US to get some more information on the cause of death." And I was thinking to myself, what do you mean? Send what to the US? Are you okay? Like, what do you mean? This is the UK. We're capable of things,
Exactly.
Kind of thing. But then I really just felt like they didn't. They didn't do what they should have done. They were so complacent. But when you're grieving to the degree that we were grieving, when we lost our son. You don't want to hear nothing about suing.
Exactly.
You're not trying to go to see no solicitors.
Exactly.
You don't want to, you don't even want to go back to that hospital.
Yeah.
And I remember vouching, after we lost Nathan, that we would never return to that hospital again, because the care there was abysmal. And that's the point we're talking about right now. The care there was so terrible that I just the thought of even seeing a nurse there gave me the creeps, because of the experience that I had. It was absolutely awful, so yes, I mean, Sister Emma, do you want to add anything on that cultural care before we move on to the next one?
Yeah, just on the topic of cultural care, as you said, I feel like normally with first pregnancies as well, everything is so forced and everything is so rushed, and I feel like where it should be taken time and things should be explained and fully grasp what's going on. This is the first time you're ever doing this, the first time your body's going through this. Like Robbie said, you don't know the technological terms for a lot of these things, Pitocin, oxytocin, what this does, why it's doing this. You're not aware of a lot of these things, so I feel like they feel that they can take more advantage, especially with first pregnancy and first birth. Even with mine, I remember the lady was very patronizing with a lot of things. She just was kind of like, oh, well, you don't know. Oh, no, I want to do it natural. I don't want drugs. Oh, okay. You haven't had childbirth, if you say so. And it was like, oh, okay, this is not the reaction I'm expecting from my midwife. To laugh at me at not wanting to take drugs, or wanting a natural birth and wanting to do things my way and a holistic way, and that's not the reaction you want from someone who's meant to be your primary caregiver, who's meant to be advising you and going through this journey with you. And even when they advised me about the birth center, I remember when I went in and saw one of the ladies, the first lady I saw, she was a lady of ethnicity as well, and she said one of the first things she said to me is, oh, so lovely to see you. I don't get many of our kind in here. And I was like, oh, really? Why not? And she was like, oh, there's so many problems and they're deemed so high risk. And I was like, really? And she said, oh yeah, a lot of them are deemed high risk. Like, honestly, I think she was like, she's not worked there for long, but she can count how many people have been recommended to this low risk unit. And I remember thinking that in my first pregnancy, and even hearing that as a first pregnancy, you're kind of like, oh, maybe I am going to be high risk. Maybe something might happen. Maybe there is a chance that I can be, and just planting these seeds. And I think that was one of the main things that I was kind of like, oh, I'm in a low risk unit, but I'm like a rare gem. Like, this isn't something that's popular in our community. So even if I was to go on maybe in my second pregnancy and they were to tell me, oh, you're high risk now, I feel like it's something you'd more easily accept because of the things you've been told, the statistics you've been given, and stuff like that. Also with cultural care, just on the point of following up and chasing up, my birth experience, not my labor, my actual birth experience, was one where my mother was induced as well. Even against her wishes, and she just kind of was like, no, they're like, oh, look, it's fine, we're just going to give you a little bit of something that's going to help you. And they gave it to her, and you're not progressing, we're going to give you a bit more. She still wasn't progressing in their eyes, let's give you a bit more. And in the end, I think it ended up she had a uterus rupture because of the amount she'd been given. It was over the recommended, and when they checked, I think postpartum, it was, I think almost, was it 3 times, something like that, over the recommended level. So she had a uterus rupture, rushed to theatre, emergency C-section. They came out, and obviously this was years back, came out, gave my dad the baby and was like, yeah, look, I don't think she's going to make it. Prepare yourself. So he's in the corridor. I remember him saying that he was just kind of holding a newborn baby thinking, I'm about to do this by myself. I've just lost my wife. And I think they said her heart stopped, so she actually did die. She actually did die. Her heart.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
Her heart stopped, so she actually did die. She lost, I think they said, most of the blood in her body, and this was all due to negligence and lack of care, and it all could have been avoided. In the end, she came back and they were able to like revive her and stuff, and I think she had to stay in the hospital for a good month or something afterwards. And then she just remembers that time. She said it was just a blur to her. She didn't really know what was going on, and she just had a baby, and you're meant to be like joyful and thinking, wow, I'm gonna go home with my newborn, but she just remembers being so high on drugs. She doesn't remember. A lot of painkillers, people coming in and out. Even the police came to see her. That's how I think negligent the situation was. They came to take her statement, and they obviously, she didn't invite them. They came to take her statement, and they came to check the notes and stuff like that. I think they were literally kind of like, this woman this has almost been an attempt on her life. Like, that's the way the paperwork reads. And obviously she didn't know about the legal system, statute of limitations. By the time she'd find out, like, oh, actually these people almost did try to kill me, came about. And obviously they were like, she could have sued them for everything they were worth. It was lack of information, lack of knowledge. She didn't really know the names, what happened. It was years later that she then found out, oh, okay, they did, this was wrong and that was wrong, and this was a warning sign, and that shouldn't have happened, and this shouldn't have been told. Like, all these things, just a ripple effect that come down. And yeah, the lack, and I feel like they kind of realized that they had gotten away with murder quite literally in that situation. And
my goodness,
that is kind of cause that you would do it again. Almost, you would do it again. You would think that, okay, we got away with it, and she's gone home with her baby now after a couple of months, and we've smiled and given her cups of tea, and you know, she's not going to do anything, she's not going to sue. Well, it's less likely the next woman will either. So I think that's the kind of stance they take. A lot of this with the whole mortality rate and the whole lack of care issue. It's like, I think it's missing from the ground up. The care is just lacking from the ground up. There's so much more that they could do at the initial stages, just informationally wise. I feel like a lot of first pregnancies, you're not informed at all on the goings on what actual induction does, the risks associated with it.
That's right.
She had no idea. And I think that was one thing she hates needles and being cut open, all of that. So that was the last thing in her mind that was going to happen to her that day when she went in thinking, I'm in labor, we're going to have a baby today. So
wow.
So just to add as well, I think that as a culture, we're known to be quite outspoken and speak our mind, like especially a Black woman, and I think that narrative has been pushed so much in the media that, you know, Black women just speak their mind. They're so loud, they're so arrogant and stubborn and all that. And so I think the NHS or the medical professionals hear that, receive that, take that, and when they see a Black woman, it's like, oh, a difficult one. She needs to be under our kind of control, if that makes sense. So
from the beginning,
on top of that, it's like, if she has anything to say, just ignore it. She doesn't really know. Like, she's not a medical professional, and she's just going to want to moan and whine and tell us about her body and all that when we know better. And so there's a whole dismissal and lack of care because of their mindset about women of color. And I think that plays a large part in it because of the narrative that the media present on how we are. And I think naturally we're very strong. And so, and very much in tune with our bodies. So when we speak, it's like, no, something's wrong. I know something's wrong. Can you check it, please? And we're not passive in our approaches many times. And so it can be quite, for them anyway, like, you know, I'm a professional, you're not. Like, don't tell me what to do. Like, it's your body, but I know what I'm doing. I've done this for 10 years. I studied for 7 years. You lot don't know what you're doing. Whereas another person, maybe from another culture, maybe very much like, whatever you want to do, like, you do it because you know what you're doing, and thus there's a ease that they see with another culture as opposed to the Black culture, and I think that plays a large part in it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, we've got a comment here. It says, Grace I says, many Black women have said that they have complained about pain or concerns, and their pains has been minimized due to the expectations that they'll be fine or can take the pain.
100%.
Now, I mean, I just want to bring that up because that's literally what you was just talking about just now, Sister Robbie, you know, and it even when I was doing the research on this, that's what I found. I found that a lot of women were saying that we've been complaining. We do say that we are in pain. We told them that we were in pain. We told them that something just didn't feel right, you know, whether it be headaches, whether it be, a deeper kind of nausea. And as well, there's the whole, you guys are strong. You come from strong backgrounds, and
exactly.
You can carry a lot of weight. I mean, I'm just like, who told you that? Did you have from?
What
I want to see
statistics?
Thank you, sister.
Literally. What evidence?
Where did you get it? Who told you I can handle this pain just more than my sister over there, kind of thing. But obviously, I don't know where they get these assumptions from. I mean, ladies, if you're watching this right now, leave in the comments if you have had an experience during pregnancy and you was just told, or maybe you wasn't told, but it ended up being the fact that was kind of what they said without saying it. You'll be fine. You're strong. You've got, 8 weeks to go. You're just fussing over nothing, kind of thing. So, yeah. No, I mean, again, Sister Emma, that story about your mum, I just wanted to find out what number pregnancy was that? Because I'm just going to say something based on that. What number pregnancy was that?
So I was her second, and she had a previous pregnancy with my older sister, and it was fine. And she was breech as well, so it was completely fine. But it wasn't in this country. That's the only thing. So I feel like in her experience when she came here, the prenatal care just dropped, and I think she was expecting a complete 180 in that she was coming from a country that wasn't as developed, didn't have as good a medical system, medical care. Right. And you come here and they're going to tell you, we're going to give you something to help with contractions. She was go, okay, great. This is the medical care I've been missing out on. This is the UK medical system, and they've got some sort of high tech something that's going to help me. No problem, that's fine. And I think that was so for her second pregnancy, after having a breech first pregnancy, completely fine. She now came and endured this horrific thing for her horrific incident for her second pregnancy. I was her second.
Yeah. Wow, thank you so much. I mean, I was just going to say, because a lot of the time, many women who have had C-sections and then they're going to attempt a VBAC, that's what they're generally told. Oh, your uterus could rupture. However, hearing that could actually happen even without you having a C-section, that itself is quite deep. And I'm hoping that if you're watching this now and you're watching this later and you've had a C-section before and you would like to attempt a VBAC, but then that's kind of the thing that they keep saying to you. That's what they kept saying to me, oh, your uterus could rupture, oh, and finding out that 1%, it happens to 1% of women, but then this is one of the narratives that they do play on if you're trying to attempt a VBAC, that the uterus could rupture. However, Sister Emma here has been proof that can even happen without you having a C-section, okay? But then again, we're going to flow on to the next question here, okay? It's about equality in maternity care. Okay, we're gonna just let's flow, ladies, let's flow. So who wants to go first with this one? Let's talk about equality in maternity care. Okay, now, I'll start, right? So like I said earlier regarding my second pregnancy. No, actually my first two pregnancies, because my first pregnancy was in the same hospital as my second one. I should have learned from the first time, right? You'd probably been like, girl, I don't know why you went back after the first time. Do you know what I mean? But again, this is the thing. I didn't know that I could go to any hospital, okay, of my choice until my fourth pregnancy. Did you know that?
Same here.
Yeah.
I didn't know
that at all.
Ladies, listen, I don't know. Again, like I said, I'm not trying to be like, oh, it's because of the color of my skin. They didn't tell me that I had options. Okay. However, I can assume things, right? Anyway, so like I said, I did not know that I could go to any hospital after I had my first experience, which was, like I said, it was traumatic. Just, I mean, fair enough. I was young. Like Sister Emma said, a lot of the times with your first pregnancy, they kind of mug you off a lot because you don't know what you're doing. You're not experienced. They know it all. And you haven't got someone, like Sister Robbie, who her husband was like, listen, I know book, okay? Don't come with that kind of thing. I know what you people are up to, Some of us, we were in situations where we didn't have that, okay? And they just do whatever they feel that is best, in a sense, for them. I don't know if it's for us or if it's for them, So like I said, I didn't know that I could choose any hospital. So when I got pregnant for the second one, here we go again. It was the same hospital. Didn't want to be there. Do you know what I'm saying? And then look what happened. Look at the situation. What ended up happening. The care that I got was I didn't even want to, talk about it, because if you're gonna ask me, do I feel that I was treated equally to someone else, I would say I don't feel I was treated right, period. Full stop. Full stop. I'm not even more or less on equality, So I don't feel like I was treated appropriately at all from the beginning, even right down to the end. I mean, they didn't even sense like, you know, someone to come and take to give us like an update on what happened, the exact information, and none of that. So it was only after that, I remember after losing our son, I just remember saying, if I ever get pregnant, I'm never going there again. Never. And it was only because I said I'm never going there again that actually when I fell pregnant with with Johanna, that I said to my doctor, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. I don't care what anybody says. You're not sending me back to that hospital. That was when my doctor said, okay, you don't have to go back to that hospital. You can actually go to another hospital. At that point, she didn't say to me any hospital. She just said another hospital, and the next hospital was a hospital based in another borough. But then it was only when I was pregnant, when I decided when I was pregnant for my on my fourth pregnancy, that I found out that you can actually go to any hospital, because I was trying to go to where Kate gave birth. I'm not gonna lie, I was trying to go up in St. Mary's. I told you, yeah, I would. But the only reason why I couldn't go to that hospital was because I was classed as high risk, and they only deal with low risk, blah, 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 blah. So, hey, anyway, but yeah, you know, cut that story short. So personally, when it comes to maternity, equality maternity care, I didn't feel that I got the treatment that I should have had with my first two pregnancies. And again, the area that I was, the area that I was in at the time, you could probably say it was predominantly an ethnic minority in a sense. You know, now it's developed, it's a lot more mixed, but at the time, almost 20 years ago, this is, you know, I'm talking about, it wasn't like that. Even a lot of the midwives, they changed the system over there, because a lot of the midwives, and again, on this particular topic, I found that it was actually the midwives who were the same skin color as me that were treating me not right.
Isn't it?
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that not so ironic? Ladies, is that not just so
100%.
ironic? I would have thought, because, you know, we were, you know, from the same, you know, background in a sense, like being African, shall I say? I just put it out there. The fact that we were, majority of the midwives in that hospital at the time were from African backgrounds and Caribbean backgrounds. I would have actually thought that I would have received a great level of care. But believe me, it was not the case at all. It was not the case. I'll let you, you know, go on, girls. Who wants to jump on this one?
Sister
Ems? Yeah,
I'll jump on. Oh my gosh.
Go.
Oh my gosh. Listen, the maternal care, like Sister said, first of all, when I was talking about my first pregnancy and the woman saying, come on, take the drugs, whatever, it was our peoples that were doing that.
Wow.
But aside from that, the actual maternal care, like, first of all, with my first child, when she was born, they said, because she had pooed in my womb, that she needed some kind of antibiotics. And literally, they were prodding at my baby about 7 times with a needle. And my husband was like, what are you doing? Like, she's screaming. She just literally was born. And it's like they had no care for my child. But then when it came to me, it was like, you've had the baby now. Like, we don't even, like, who are you? Like,
Dismiss
I remember
you.
with our third child, I think it was, I tore. And I remember, I think a day later, I just felt this pain. I was like, something's hurting. Please, can someone come and look? Like, and I'd never experienced pain like that. Like, when I'd been stitched up prior, I never felt pain. So this pain was new to me. And I'm saying, please, you need to check. And she's like, the lady was like, have you got stitches? Yes, I do. Well, that's why it's hurting. I was like, this is my third child. Like, I've had stitches before. I never felt pain. Can you come and look at it? All right, do this with your legs. I was like, I cannot. It hurts too much. She's like, just do this. Like, can you just bend your knees and just do this? And I was like, look. And I started crying because I'm feeling pain. I'm like, she's not getting it. And I'm like, I cannot do that because it hurts so much. She's like, well, if you don't want me to look, then there's nothing I could do. You just have to deal with the pain then. And I'm like, I want you to look, but I can't do what you're asking me to do. Physically. I just gave birth. Like, You're asking me to do this. So I said, look, can you call for someone else? She's like, so you don't want me to do it? I was like, look,
No,
you can
I
just do
don't.
someone else.
No,
She ended
don't
up calling
touch
the
me.
head midwife.
Yeah, literally, I don't want you to do it. Yeah.
I don't want you to
Yeah.
I
touch me.
don't, yeah, you know
I'm
what I mean?
praying you
And the
close it.
midwife said to me, the head midwife said to me, lay on your side and just lift your leg. And I said, I can do that. Like, and I
Oh,
said,
Yeah.
why did the lady
wow.
before not say that? And
So
she's like, I don't
difficult.
know. We've
Yeah.
had several complaints about her. And I was like, look,
Oh,
she's
wow.
horrible. Get her out of here. And I made a
Yeah.
complaint about her. Sat down for about 2 hours talking to the head of head midwives. And
Yeah.
then after speaking, she said, all right, everything you've just said, could you put it in writing, please? And then I'll push it forward. I was like,
Yeah.
I just
What was
gave
this
birth.
for?
I just sat with you for 2 hours telling you what happened. I don't have
Yeah.
time to write this down. Can you
Imagine.
make notes? Write it down. Like, I've got a new baby. I've got 2 children at home, a newborn. I can't write down. She's like, oh, well, we can't take it further unless you sit down and write this down. I was
Wow.
like, this went on for about 3 days. So you want me to write
Wow.
3 days
3
worth
days worth of report.
experience when you could have
Yeah.
just asked me to do that at the
Wow.
beginning, like.
Yeah.
And I didn't push it forward.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
again, because I just thought, I've got a new baby. I've had enough. I don't even want to be at this hospital. I've had enough.
Wow.
Like, I hate it here. But the maternal care was just literally terrible. Like, I've only ever experienced maternal care really amazingly in one hospital, and that was the birthing center. I think the same as Emma,
Oh,
where
lovely.
they treated you like you're a human, and it was
Yeah.
amazing. Like, I was classed as high risk again. But they were like, look, we know you understand your body better than we do. We're going to listen to whatever you say. And it was just like, this was brand new. Like, what do you mean? I never experienced that in my local hospital.
Yeah.
And yeah, it felt to me as though this is not how the woman treats everyone. It didn't feel like that, because I heard her speak to some woman next door who was not a woman of color. Oh, would you like a tea? How can I help? And then there was another girl who just had a C-section. She was a woman of color, and she's telling her, lift up your bag, man. Lift up your bag.
Wow.
Because she had an infection, so she was carrying some kind of bag that happens after a C-section. And she's like,
okay.
I can't, it hurts. And I'm like, wow, just how she treated me is how she treated that girl. But I'm seeing two different cultures next
So
to me.
you were seeing, so you were firsthand experiencing this.
The difference.
This.
Yeah.
You were experiencing it firsthand, and not just you, even the lady next door who just had a C-section.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's like
And
I had an issue with my husband as well because he was black. It was like she was so rude to him. Like, yeah, it was horrible.
But this is the thing, you know, if we do not speak out about these things, if we're not making, I mean, to be honest, you know, even sometimes I still feel to myself like, what I experienced in 2007, should I still complain? Should I still make a fuss? Because you don't want anyone to be treated that way. You never want anyone to experience, you know, what you experience. You never want to have to be or hear of such horrific things happening to anyone. You know, sometimes I'm just like, you know, should I? But you know, when the Lord gives you peace and you found comfort and things are kind of, you kind of let go of that. You don't really want to go and open up a can of worms, as they say. You know, so that for me, that's one of the things that stopped me from really pushing forward in complaining with that, because it took a lot to heal from that experience, and then to kind of have to even find out about it and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you know, you wouldn't wish something out on your worst enemy, to be fair, you know. So you know, but it's just that extra care in a sense when we do have when we are pregnant and when we are carrying these beautiful babies that the Lord has blessed us with. They might not think so, because they're probably thinking, oh, this world is overpopulated anyway, you know, why are you still having babies? It's 3 not enough, it's 4 not enough. The Lord said, be fruitful and multiply. So we are multiplying. You know what I'm saying? But that's us. That's what we believe. We believe we should be fruitful and multiply. Whereas even though some of these women are working these institutions in, you know, in this part of care, they still looking, thinking, baby number 4, why are you doing this to yourself? And then you know, then they begin to put their feelings and their way of thinking, their ethics and their ideologies on you, instead of, this is what they're paid to do. They're supposed to give you fair, good, equal treatment. Let's do the job that we're supposed to do. Okay. You know, just simply put, Sister Emma, do you want to share anything on equality in maternity care?
Yeah, I was just going to say obviously we talk about the medical professionals knowing better, and they should have your care as their first priority. Hippocratic oaths, first do no harm. And it seems like a lot of these people are just kind of taking their own perspectives and their own wishes and projecting that onto innocent women who may not know better, as we've discussed, may not know their choices. Like you said, you didn't know that you could have a baby at any hospital or choose your caregiver choice. You don't know. You just don't know these things. For example, I didn't know until I was said that I could go to the birth center, and I remember I think I'd seen loads of different midwives, and the lady that kind of laughed at me was at this hospital and all of these things. And then when I had moved to the birthing center, I had the most amazing midwife. She's delivered both of my boys as well, and she was literally because of her, I think that childbirth is an amazing experience. For whole labor, all of it, like she genuinely made and she isn't a person of color at all. She isn't an ethnic minority, and she did genuinely make the experience one that you just want to do again and have again and have again if I had her. And literally I remember when I had my second child, I called up and was like, is she still there? And they were like, yeah, she's still here, she still works here. I was like, great. And then I walked in and I was kind of like, are you gonna literally I walked in and she's like, oh, you're back again, lovely. And instead of kind of like, oh, another one, haven't you just had one a couple of years ago, a bit soon? That you think, like, she was kind of like, oh, lovely, what's this one gonna be? What do you think? Oh, I think this one might be, the last one was a boy. And she was sitting there interacting with me, and I don't want intervention and I don't want choice. And she was like, no problem. The consultant is going to fight us on wanting this. And the consultant is going to fight us on wanting that. But I don't see what's the point. And she literally acted how you expect them to act, like they're on your side. Kind of like, this is me and you, and we're going to do the best for the baby. This is about what you want your choices to be. Whether or not I think you should take this vitamin, it's up to you. Whether or not I think you should have this injection, it's up to you. Even with I think there's a Down syndrome test that you do, and we declined the Down syndrome test, and she was like, oh, that's fine. And even before asking why, I mean, she was like, I completely understand. And I was kind of like, oh, this is refreshing. I'm ready to sit here and fight my corner and tell you, no, I don't want it because, and she was just like, oh, completely understand. That's fine. No problem. Just flicked, like literally just wrote a note down in the paper. You've declined it. I'll let them know. And you kind of go in. And you go into the with the sonographer, and they're kind of like the person who's not the midwife or consultant or medical professional. Why aren't you having it? You've chosen not to have it. Oh, well, that's your choice then. And you're just kind of like, well, who are you? Why am I now being persecuted for my choice? This isn't your child. We didn't have this child together. We didn't come in agreement here. But you're literally coming to now project your opinion and what you've been told onto me. And I think the care that you receive, I feel like it varies your experience so much as you have your mental understanding of how you want things to be, and you project that I'm going to have a natural birth, I'm going to have a pleasant experience. If you sit there in a room with an hour for a consultant, which I have done, telling you that what you're doing is not right, I don't think you should do it, this isn't the way, you literally come out of there feeling drained. You're kind of like, oh, is this even worth it? What's the point? Rather than having someone just say, oh, you don't want the test? No problem. Decline that. Fine. Move on to the next topic. That's your choice. That's it. That's all I can say. Literally, whether or not I want you to, whether or not I care or not, it's your choice. And we're here to discuss your choices and to deliver your choices across in this process.
Definitely. Oh, that's I mean, and that's how the experience should be, that's how it should be when you're pregnant, even, because a lot of the times we focus a lot on, before birth care. After birth care is extremely important as well, because, like Sister Robbie was just saying, after you've had a child, if you have to have stitches, on all these kind of things, someone's got to deal with you. And all of those people that are dealing with, that are touching us, that are holding our babies, that are doing the stitching, other than praying in the process, while these people are around you, you are just hoping that these people do not have this kind of, wicked mentality towards you and towards the industry. And sometimes you think to yourself, well, why are you there? Why are you there? If you cannot give me quality care, why are you here?
Exactly.
Right. And again, this is the thing. They should be tackling these particular issues, not bringing on the things that we're really gonna, go and discuss in here, which is, targeting us in a sense, so. Definitely. Listen, guys, I hope all of you, I really hope all of you watching this right now are getting some goodness out of it, and you're being edified, and you're sitting there going, yeah, that happened to me too. Or no, that didn't, whatever it may be, whatever you've experienced, we want to hear it. We want you to share it. Again, as well, like I always say, which is be a blessing. Your comment will bless somebody. What you're saying, the things that you're about to say, the things that you're going to write down, people are going to read this later on when they do watch a live stream and catch up. They're going to read it and they're going to be blessed. So don't be shy. All of you on there, say something just to be a blessing to someone else. Okay, ladies, you know what? I'm having such a good time here with you guys. It's really good. Where is it? I hope you girls are having a good time as well. I hope you're having a good time.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
And listen, for all of you watching, can you hear? It's quiet. Yay, husbands are on the job.
No children.
Are on the job. You've not seen no little toes come in the shop just yet. Husbands are on the job. Thank you, Daddy.
Just yet.
Yeah, just yet. No, we really
don't say that too soon, literally. For one escapes.
It's true. But even there was there's this particular fact here, and it says there are similar mortality rates in neonatal in the UK and in the US, right? And it had me thinking, why? Why is that? Why is the UK and the US? Why do they have similar results in a sense? You get what I mean? It's like, why is it 5 to 7% mortality rate in the US and 5% mortality rate in the UK? Does that not just kind of like make you think sometimes, like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
We hear about the unfair treatment that people of color get every day in the United States of America, whether it be through police brutality or whatever it may be in prison or whatever, the list goes on technically. But when you think about birth, you wouldn't think that the results would be similar, kind of thing. So I thought I'd share that, because even though we are here in the UK, I've got US supporters as well. Some of them are probably going to watch this later on, and it seems as it's bigger than we really know. The situation that's taking place. It seems like it's a lot bigger than we can actually grasp. So let us So the NICE, I was going to put the full name of what the NICE, let's just say the NICE draft. It's not very nice.
The National Institute for Health and Care Excellence. I think that's the one.
Thank you. She got a brain. Thank you. Draft guidelines to induce us at 39 weeks. So they're drafting guidelines to induce us at 39 weeks. Okay. I know probably the thumbnail of this, you was like, racist doctors, what are they talking about? But this is what we're really discussing, ladies. It says this is the same group that wants to scrap and I had to put this in. Because I was going to talk about this on another show, but I thought, what's there? Otito. Let's just do it gently.
Do it together.
Let's just do it gently, And you ladies are reading. It says this is the same group that wants to scrap the word breast milk to be inclusive to the trans community. Right now, when I saw that, I was just like,
really?
From the time you lot are trying to, they're trying to do that. This whole 39 weeks thing could not be in our favor. It cannot be in our favor. Okay, no, the fact that it's the same group, it's the same institution, they're the ones that make calls when it comes to maternity, pregnancies, and different other health issues. They're making decisions on our behalf, and it's a major issue. It's a major issue. But before we move on to that, let's just quickly go into the comments and see what the people are saying quickly. I want to be inclusive and make my guests feel welcome too. Mm-hmm. You're gonna see a face or your image pop up on the screen. Say cheese. All right. So yes, Shirley says virtual hug, Shirley. Thank you. We've got a hi from Grace, and then we've got everyone is looking lovely this afternoon.
Oh,
Thank you,
Well,
Grace.
thank you, honey. we try, we try. Okay, and okay, Rel says, I agree. It's the level of care that is the issue.
Yeah.
And you know, so right, Sister Rose, you're so right, because it's not about color, it's not about, you know, pregnancy time, it's not about baby, it's about the level of care that we are receiving, and that is what they really need to begin to tackle, and that's what they really begin to need to you know, they really begin to look into that, look into the women that are taking up the roles for midwives and obstetricians and gynecologists and all that kind of stuff, the people that, you know, sonographers, whoever is taking, you know, part in that process of that woman's time from start to finish. These people really need to begin to you know, they need to, I guess, screen them properly. I don't know. You know, when you've got people
Train
saying
them
that, just
properly.
open your legs or forget it. It's like, what part of East London did you know? Joke, no one said. Well, anyway.
Bedside manner. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, it's just so, you know, so wrong. So we've got Kat Johnson she says, hi ladies, everyone wave. Yes. I think we've spoken about that one. Okay, so simply I can win. Yes, the deception carried out in the medical profession when it comes to maternal care is ridiculous in the UK. Right, yes. Thank you. Right, okay. Grace says the strong black woman narrative is dangerous here. Okay, so does anyone want to kind of share on that one? Do you ladies feel like when they see us, they just kind of think, oh, you know, what do they think? I mean, like I said, where do they get these statistics of the strong black woman stuff? Like, where did they get that from? But you know, I don't know if anyone wants to.
I'm saying,
I'd
say intimidation. I feel 100%. Like you're the way not only physically can you be intimidating, your hair speaks for itself, it enters a room, it has its own presence, also features and all of that. Before you even talk, you're already kind of saying something. So I feel like that whole intimidation aspect, and obviously we're not a quieter, we're not for being known for being quiet or our demeanor being very calm. If you're passionate about something, you're going to express that emotionally, vocally, you know, with hand gestures, all of that. And I feel like all of that can come across to someone who doesn't share those same traits and doesn't share those same characteristics as aggressive or as being, oh, you're independent, you can do this by yourself. Oh, if you know so well, then, you know what I mean, or I'm going to treat you like this because you think you're, you know what I mean, like this. So I think, that narrative is dangerous, because then that leads to now when you do need care, when you do need to be looked after, you're now kind of pushed to the back burner because of that perception that they have of you, and you're not receiving the right care because of that.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
I totally agree. I think that plays in many sectors as well, because like I said, I'm a qualified primary school teacher, and that narrative plays in schools as well. To the point where when I was a trainee teacher, I didn't get treated like a trainee teacher. I got treated as, you know what you're doing, get on with it, I ain't helping you.
Wow.
And it wasn't helpful at all, because obviously I'm the same way my counterpart is brand new at this, I'm brand new at this. So why is it because I'm a black woman that I'm now treated as, you know what you're doing? And it's not, you know what you're doing, we're here for you, but you know what you're doing, you've got it, girl. It's not that, it's I ain't helping you. Like you wanna you look like you know what you're doing, and I ain't helping you. And if you fail because I ain't helping you, good kind of thing. It's that kind of attitude. So I feel like it does play in different arenas as well. That strong black woman thing.
Thank you. Right, so Osa says, fantastic talking sisters. Thank you. Right, Shirley says that induction pain is not nice. I was induced for my first pregnancy, and like I don't know what was happening. I didn't know what was going on. All I knew, it was painful. It was strong. You know, and again, even just on that point that Ems was talking about the amount of times they gave her mum those pills. I mean, why would you give someone such a strong dose of something because you think she can handle it? Because and again, our body types are so different. We are built differently, you know. Again, you know, instead of them maybe figuring out trying to induce us with these same things that they're inducing everybody else with, in a sense. If it's not working, it's just not working.
That's it,
you know, many women who end up having who end up being induced, many women of color, you know, many non-ethnic minorities women who end up being induced end up having C-sections. That means that induction tablet is not working.
Exactly.
You know? And again, if they're saying that they want to induce us at 39 weeks to prevent maternal deaths, it's got to, exactly, there's got to be something else going on. I mean, when you think about it, majority of women that have been induced, whether is it with the I can't remember how to say those things, the penicillin, I can't remember, and there's another one.
Pitocin, the oxytocin, that one's in the drip.
There's the liquid one and there's the pill one. You know, and if it's not working for us, then that means that they probably have to do more to find something that actually does work, that can allow us to still be induced and have a natural birth. Okay, it's not I think we induce you and then you end up having a C-section. You know. Sorry, go on, Sis Roma.
I think I was going to say, in most of the situations that I know where people have been induced, it seems like when you look back on it, it's impatience on the medical professional, the health professional's part. So even in the situations, there was no emergency, there was no, oh no, we need to induce you for this reason, you're going to be in danger. It just seems like impatience on their part. So 100%. It was like, okay, you're having contractions, let's give you something to help that along. There was no need to give her anything to help her along. She could have been sent home and progressed fine. That was another thing that I feel like slowed my pregnancy down, was the fact that they strapped me to a bed, put me on a monitor, told me the things that they tell you. Oh, these things, you go through the maternity classes and they tell you walking around's good, drink lots of water and get up and down. You get into hospital and they literally handcuff you to a bed, tell you can't eat or drink anything and you can't move. So how are we meant to progress it? Oh, you know what? I'm going to give you something to help progress labour. And then you end up in an emergency C-section in a situation. That was my mum had the Pitocin and oxytocin as well. What is it? The Pitocin, it simulates oxytocin. Oxytocin is your the contraction, the hormone that gives you contractions. So that's the hormone that contracts your uterus, where you get it, whether it's your period or during labor, which is like contracting your uterus. If you're given something, your body's artificially doing that. It's a synthetic hormone. Your body isn't naturally producing it. So you're not taken to it. If your body's not taken to it, you're wondering why, because your body hasn't produced it. It's kind of like, okay, I'm contracting. I didn't ask myself to contract. I'm not ready. I'm not at this level yet. But and you're experiencing these artificial pains as well, because it's not your body naturally contracting to bring the baby out. And then you end up in an emergency situation and they're like, oh yeah, you are more high risk. You do have more of a risk of this. When they've brought a lot of these things on from small step to small step to small step, then we end up at the big step, C-section. And whatever else.
Exactly. I mean, to be fair, you know, there are women that out there that have been induced and have ended up having a natural birth through their induction. You know, that's amazing. However, majority of the people that I have spoken to, myself included, you know, who were induced, ended up having a C-section. And again, there's the impatience when you're induced. Okay, so it's not like we're inducing you, you've got 24 hours, you know, you've got all day. They're inducing you, they're like, it's been 2 hours, honey. 3 hours has passed. You know, and it's just like, well, when, what's going on? You know, what's supposed to be happening?
Obviously, they're trying to make it happen before the end of shift, isn't it? They're like,
literally.
It's a quota. Like, someone trying to get out before they shift. Just wait. Honestly, you know. But then again, you know, ladies, we have to begin to educate ourselves around this topic. We're not just supposed to get pregnant and just let by and just let whatever be, let it be. We need to start knowing. We need to start reading. We need to start engaging. We need to start watching videos like these. You know,
for sure.
We need to start talking. And as well, you know, first time mums, find someone that has had multiple pregnancies and speak to them. You know, speak to other people in your circle and say, you know what, you know, what was your experience like? And you might get someone that might say something. You're like, I'm not so sure. You speak to someone else and you're like, okay, because we women, we do have different views. We do have different opinions. Some people take the stance of they're the medical professionals. Let them do their job. They give themselves away, you know, and they're just like, my body's yours until I have this baby kind of thing. Do you know what I'm saying?
And afterwards.
And after as well. But it's important, it's so important, ladies, for us to not just carry, but to be knowledgeable as we carry.
100%.
Okay, if you don't want to experience the same thing, if you don't want to experience the same thing time and time and time again, okay, you've had one C-section, doesn't mean you have to have another one. Find out what your options are. Go on a journey. You were induced the first time, you don't have to be induced again. Right. Understand, like Sister Ems was just saying, the body knows what to do naturally. It needs movement, it needs exercise, it needs certain things. Give that to your body. Don't just wait for the 39, 41, 42, 43 like some of us, and just go, and just be like, what's going to happen, kind of thing. So we must begin to learn, read, open the books, there are some great books out there on maternity, on building your spirituality even during maternity. I talk a lot about mindset during pregnancy, to be fair. It doesn't matter what situation, what type of pregnancy you're having, mindset is key. It's so important. It's vital. It's what's going to determine the outcome that you have. Even if they bring in these even if they do bring in these regulations, your mindset is what's going to break you through it. Okay, so let's get educated on pregnancy, on our bodies, and what it is that we should be doing. Back to the comments. Let's see what the community is saying, ladies. Okay. I don't know. Can you girls see this? Does anyone want to read? Can you girls see the comments? I don't know who wants to take this one. Lovely. I think they've heard my voice.
There is.
Yeah, go on.
Kat Johnson says there is a very apparent disparity how ethnic women and Caucasian women are treated in the medical field, especially in hospital.
Lovely.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes,
I think that is true. Obviously, we've all experienced it. I think Robbie said she experienced that firsthand with the two, seeing it live with the two ladies, one right, one left, and how they were being treated. Obviously, the complete opposite. That's definitely true.
100%. Okay, let's see. Okay, Shirley says they kept turning it up and up without my knowledge. Sister Shirley, that would be what Sister Ems, what's the drip one called? The
Pitocin. They gave it Pitocin. Yeah.
Right. Wow, Sister Shirley.
And the thing is, it's artificial. I have a friend who's like, she's got one child, a daughter, and she's like, I'm never having another one again. I'm done. And I'm like, really?
That's their plan. That's what they hope would be the result.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm done. I'm completely done. She's from Vietnam. She's Vietnamese, and she was just like, I'm not having another one. Honestly, it was horrible. The experience was absolutely horrible. And she was like, the pain after I got to hospital and stuff like that. And after talking, you kind of realize, this was after the induction. And she was like, yeah, that pain. And I was like, I feel like there's a difference between your natural body contracting, those natural labor pains. I'm not saying they're not painful, but I feel like the induction contractions, the way they're artificially stimulated, they're different and they hurt in a different kind of way. I feel like when you're contracting naturally your body, you feel almost it's painful, but I'm progressing. It's painful, but it's to an end. It's painful, but the induction contractions are different, and they're just not. And I feel like they lead to this experience where she's just like, I could not talk about. She's adamant. Hopefully, after a few years, she'll forget about it. But she is just adamant. She's not having any more. Yeah,
it's so true. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I'm not saying that they're trying to put us off having children. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. Okay. But however, exactly. Read between the lines. That's not what I'm saying. However, some women do get to that point where they're like, I'm just not doing this again. I'm sorry. I'm not going down that road. I'm not getting cut open. I'm not being induced. I just don't want it. It's not that they don't want more children. It's just that the experiences that they keep having have not been in their favor. Hence, it contorts their mind to go from, I wanted 4, now I only want 2, or I wanted 3, now I only want 1. I'm sticking with the 1. It's good for me.
I'm done.
I'm done. Okay, so and this is another thing, we were built for this, and this is what we have to remember, ladies. This is what we have to remember. God created us for this. This is one of our purpose. He created us for this. He created us to carry. He knows how, each and every one of us are built individually. Our bodies are made for this. But then when the medical people come in and they say, oh, your hips are too narrow, or you're just not progressing,
exactly,
or they come up with, oh, your hips are too wide. That's why the baby came so early, because it just kind of came out,
slid out,
slid out, just whatever it is. And then some of us are like, oh, our milk is not lactating. It's not coming out, and so I'm not breastfeeding. I don't want to breastfeed because listen, you were made for this.
That's it.
Yeah. You were built for this. Okay. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what they do. They can't stop you. Okay. And some women get to the point where I'm not even going to hospital no more. I'm just home birthing all the way.
Exactly.
I'm home birthing, home birthing. Okay.
Yeah.
And again, even sometimes with the home birth, they're like, oh no, you don't want a home birth, it's high risk, come into the birthing center, and then before you know it, they're rushing you off to the normal hospital to go and have have delivery. So there are all these things. So go on, Sister Robbie.
I was gonna say, the sad thing is, in terms of a timeline, that aftercare is the shortest part of a pregnancy. We carry the babies for 9 months, experiencing the God-given experience of that, and it's only when man intervenes that we're now feeling like, oh, like some people, they don't want to have any more children, but it's because of where man intervenes. It has nothing to do with the God-given part. It's like, even the labor is meant to be, the God-given part, but there's so much intervention, and it can just cause someone's memory of that experience to be so clouded because of this intervention. And it's horrible to think that women are actually choosing to not have children now because of that, and they associate that with having a child rather than being with hospital staff or medical professionals. And that's really sad. Like, it's so sad. And I remember when I was pregnant with my second child, I remember just feeling so nervous and so anxious about that, because I remember the pain I had with baby number one, and I got pregnant when she was only 5 months old. So it wasn't like it was down the road when I experienced the pain. It was just recently.
A few months,
and now when I experienced that pain, and it was only when she said, oh, you were induced, it was like, ooh, okay, now I know I don't have to go through that again. And honestly, I've had 1 child with pain relief and 3 without, and the pain is different. It's different. I didn't have any gas and air with the last 3 at all, nothing. And yes, it's painful, but I can get over that pain. That first pain, to this day, I don't really remember the pain of the last 3, but the first pain, it's God. And that's not right. But I do think what you says is the key point of all of this. Educate yourselves, especially when you hear that the majority of inductions happen on first pregnancies. Obviously, there's this thing of, your first child is going to be long, like labor's going to be long. And I think obviously in their minds, it's like, this is going to be long. I just want this to be quick, let's go.
I need the help.
The majority of them are first pregnancies because they're trying to make this happen quickly. Like, we don't want to be here till next week. No, this is long. Let's get this baby out.
Exactly.
Whereas that's not what God has planned for people to experience.
That's right.
So
thank you so much.
So key.
Thank you so much, ladies. I think we've got quite a bit of comments, so should we go? Go. Let's get the community. Let's get them in. Okay, so planting seeds in pregnant women's minds seems to be a prominent tactic, especially last minute when so much is going through their minds. Thank you so much, Grace. And I think that point that Grace was making was, I think it was when we was talking about, when you're in labor, things are happening, and they just come to start making decisions on your behalf, and it is becoming much more prominent, because again, it's like time is money. Isn't it? Even though, when we go into these places, when we go into hospital to give birth, we're just like, oh, it's just about us. No, that midwife is on a time, the doctors are on a time, everybody's getting paid, but people got to change shifts, things are happening, things are being utilized, and all that kind of stuff. So, it's not just, you're going in to give birth. There's so much more that goes on behind the scenes, and all of those things are probably playing on their minds as well. Oh my gosh, we haven't got enough beds. We need to hurry up and get her out. Okay, she's been here for 2.5 hours. Nothing's happening, nothing's progressing. Break the waters. In an hour, we'll get her off to a C-section. Who knows what they're saying? We haven't got enough beds. How many times we heard we haven't got enough beds?
100%.
How many times we heard that statement? Thank you so much, Grace, for that.
I think you missed one, says.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, just under Shirley's.
Yeah. Thank you. Induction cannot feel normal, as it is an abnormal introduction of genes via hormones into the body to forcibly stimulate a reaction.
Yeah, that's what
Yes,
I said.
simply I can win. I think we just kind of we've covered that. So yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for sharing that. Right, okay. The medical profession deal in speed over need. I literally, yeah, exactly. It's amazing how the comment can just kind of line up with what you're about to say, right? Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
We all used to hear it before. There isn't enough.
You just said
there isn't enough beds yet. Yeah.
Literally.
That's amazing. I had not seen that comment. You see, guys, working. Listen. There's a lot going on here. Stay prayerful and just, I mean, even if if you're pregnant right now and you're thinking to yourself, I definitely 100% want a different experience. I really feel like you should be getting a lot from this talk today. You definitely should be getting a lot from this talk today. Yes, Grace says, simply I can win speed over need. Right. Anyone can read that one. Go on. I'm just going to put them up. You ladies can read them as they pop up.
So Simply I Can Win says, wow, so-called third world care is better than a first world nation. Not surprising.
Wow.
Totally
yes. Totally 100% agree.
Simply I Can Win. The UK have done a great job of building a great mask of publicity. Oh, they're experts at publicity. Making people think there is one place to be over the rest of the world. Yep.
Right. Yes. I mean, does anyone kind of want to elaborate on that for the audience, just so we can get a little bit more on that?
Yeah, funny enough, I was just thinking about when you said that you wanted to go and have your baby where Kate Middleton had her baby, and they do publicize it, and you see her standing outside the Lido wing representing, best care in the world. I actually have a family member that came over and they are quite well off. Money is not an issue to them. And when she was having her baby, her parents did pay for her to come here, and she came to the UK, and she went to the UK, London's best private hospital, all their care and security and valet parking, all of that. And the prices of room a night were
ridiculous, I'm sure.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah, but obviously this is what you want. You come from a third world country and you say, I want the best care. I want my baby to have the best doctors, the best midwives, the cleanest facility that money can buy. And even then, I remember her mum, after the fact, was kind of like, she wasn't happy with the care. She wasn't fully happy with the care that they were addressed with. And I'm like, they should be used to dealing with international. They do have a lot of international clients. They have people from all over Asia and India and Dubai. Like, they have people come from all over to have babies. And her mum was just saying she wasn't particularly happy with the care that they received, and she wasn't happy with this and the way they did that. And even in the end, I think with the birthing partner, there was some sort of confusion and stuff like that. And I was like, you've paid all this money. They should let you have 20 people in the room at the end of the day. But even in normal hospitals, you get 2. And I think there was a problem with having 2. And I think in the end, they were it was beginning of COVID time. So there was a bit of that confusion. And she was just like, she just didn't feel she got the best care. And at the end of it, she was like, she almost wishes that she would have gone to either another country or gone to the best hospital in the country that they are from. And I was like, well, you would have saved yourself. No, they'd still have to pay. They're from abroad.
Yeah, not that much. The bill would have been slashed in half. The treatment was the same, but the bill would have cost a whole lot. A lot less. I'll be asking for a refund, travel insurance or something. Oh, thank you so much, James. Robs, you can read this one.
Rels J says, with her second pregnancy, at her third scan, her son's estimated weight was 6 pounds 9 ounces. She was 2 weeks overdue, complained about being in pain, and was told that she was fine. Her son was born 9 pounds. She is 5 foot 2 inches, and they nearly lost their baby boy because of the lack of care.
Wow.
Crazy.
See, Rels, thank you so much. Listen, every single one of you that's sharing your story, that's sharing your heart, we really appreciate it. We really, really do, because it's your stories that is going to help another woman to think to yourself, you know what, I do need to educate. I do need to read up a bit more. I do need to kind of find out a bit more about what's going on. And as well, something I normally say to a lot of women in my community is you have to know your body. You
Yeah.
have to know your body.
You do know,
Because
you do know your
and,
body.
and this is the thing, we know our bodies, but when we enter into this zone, when it's this season, it's like we don't know what's going on. Things are so different, things are so not, it's normal, but to us it's not normal, but it's normal, if you get what I mean. It's natural. This is what's happening, this is what's taking place. But a lot of us, and it's I'm so grateful to God that Rose and her partner have their baby, because some women do not, in that situation, have lost their child. So we just have to be grateful. So it says, and again, and that's what we're talking about, the lack of care. It can it's a make or break, isn't it, ladies? It's a make or break, the type of care that you get,
you receive,
that determines the outcome of your experience, your baby, infections, all these kind of things. It's definitely the level of care. So Rose, thank you so much for sharing that. Simply I Can Win says we'll go round on the comments. I'll read M's, Rob's, I'll read. So should we do that? Is that all right, girls? We can do it like that. Lovely. Thank you all so much. The engagement is absolutely amazing. God bless you all. If families knew they could choose where they gave birth, more women would mini migrate to better locations and boroughs for medical care. Definitely. That's true. But the funniest thing is, you actually don't even have to migrate. You actually don't even have to migrate. Like I said, when I decided to, because, when I said to my doctor, oh, I want to go to this particular hospital, she didn't say no. She didn't say no. This is it was a really good hospital. She didn't say no to me. All she said was that they don't deal with high risk, and if anything was to happen, they will not be able to get you to the nearest hospital quick enough, right? So this was why I wasn't able to go there. So for me, I chose the next, for me, what I thought was the next best one. After my husband and I looked at statistics and we looked at certain things regarding the hospital. Again, I was kind of like, I'm not going to any hospital that's got predominantly African and Caribbean midwives because of my experience. Because of my experience. So we began to be, we started getting a bit choosy. So we didn't have to pack our bags and go and live in a hotel nearby or anything like that. It was just, the journey was just a lot longer. Every couple of weeks when I had to go, it was an hour and a bit for me to get there, but I was happy doing it because I needed a different experience. So definitely. And
just to add to that,
go ahead. Yes.
In terms of, like, with our first child, we gave birth in the birthing center that I spoke of earlier, and the same one Emma spoke of earlier. And like I said, the care was amazing. And if I'd been there during labor and then afterwards, I probably would have had such a beautiful story to tell. But what had happened was, as I was pushing him out, one of his shoulders came out and popped back in. So they, being as careful as they were like, look, he looks fine, he seems fine, but we just want to send you to the hospital nearby just so they can check his shoulders, and then once he's 6 hours old, they can let you go home. And I'd already said, look, I don't want to go back to that hospital. Like, I had bad experiences with the first child. The second child wasn't too bad, but I don't want to go to that hospital because of the treatment. And they were like, look, they're not going to treat you. You're going to be fine. They're just going to check his shoulders and then you're free to go. So because they gave me so much reassurance, I was like, cool, we'll go to hospital, check his shoulders, and then be gone. We got to hospital. He was only 1 hour old. And the doctor said, oh, can we look at him now? And they started doing, the checks that they do just before they discharge you. So they check the breathing, the saturation, oxygen, all that. They started doing that. So I'm kind of out of it because I was just like, I just gave birth. But Samuel, my husband's like, they're doing these checks, like, why are they doing these checks? They're meant to check his shoulders and that's it. So he's like, like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm just checking him over, like, attitude straight away, just checking him over. And then he's like, okay, but do you need to be doing that? And she was like, yes, like, proper, like, you think you know,
huffing and puffing,
and literally he was breathing fine. Like I said, if he wasn't, obviously the birthing center would have had something to say about it. So he was fine. And we even traveled in the ambulance to get to the hospital. No blue lights. We were just traveling, and he was fine. And she started checking his saturation, and she said that, oh, his saturation is only going to 90. Like, he's only, I think it was going to 89. Sorry, and it has to be above 90. And we're like, well, it's 89. Like, 90 is not too far off. He's fine. And she's like, no, something's wrong. No. And then she grabbed like a little oxygen mask. And literally, guys, Imagine this is him, yeah. She's like that on his face with the oxygen mask. And I was like, what's going on? And so my husband's gone, and she's like, have you got a problem? And he's like, you're pressing down on my son's face. Like, he's struggling to breathe right now. And she's like, no, I'm giving him oxygen. And she's like, do you think you could do it in a better way? He was like, yeah, I can. Like, he's just been born. You hold the mask above his face, he'll get the oxygen. And she's like, you do it then. And like, he was just saying, this is how you should do it. So she goes, okay, cool. So she's holding it above his mouth now. But because of the shock, my little boy at 1 hour old is doing this now, and his chest is up and down, irregular breathing, and I'm like, what's going on? And she's called, quickly get the doctor to come down, he's come down, he's like, what's going on? She's like, I heard a murmur on his chest, and then suddenly he stopped breathing properly, and now this is what happened. I was like, no, that's not what happened. He was fine. And you forced the mask on his face, and now he's struggling to breathe. She's like, no, that's not what happened.
I don't even want us to expose this hospital. I'm about to ask him for hospital names and numbers.
But listen,
I don't want to expose. We're going to
that worked out. I was in the days, but that's today. I was like, no,
I'm about to create a new banner and have the name scrolling across the screen.
You know? But she even then said, you know, she even then said, yeah, when he came in, he was blue. She said when he came in, he was blue, and we saw that he was struggling to breathe. I said, no, you're lying. Crazy. I said, if that was the case, we would have been blue lights down here.
Yes, exactly.
Birthing center would have said, quickly get him to hospital. He's not breathing properly. I said, you're lying. I'm not lying. Cut a long story short.
Yeah.
He ended up in neonatal care for 4 days.
Oh, wow.
4 days on oxygen. Wow. On oxygen. Literally, I can resonate with Rose J about they nearly killed her son. They nearly tried to kill my son. Yeah. And literally, when I'm saying the difference in care, the birthing center was beautiful, perfect. Emma described it already. It was wonderful. Yeah. And I know for a fact, if the aftercare was at that birthing center, I would have had no problem. But this hospital, this local hospital where there is a diverse mix of midwives and doctors and stuff, and it isn't majority Caucasian, it's like the care seems to just drop, and it's sad because like you said earlier, that's like we're meant to be from the same kindred, you know what I mean? Why is there such a low level of care?
Why is it like this? It
was horrible. It was horrible. Like, he should never have been in hospital for 4 days. We were meant to go home, and then we said, the doctor said, oh, how old is he? And we said 1 hour old. She was like, oh, I never knew that. I thought he was born yesterday. And we said, no, we told you that when we came in. We told you he was just born today. And she's like, no, you didn't. So she was doing checks on him as if he was 6 to 12 hours old. But she knew that he was only 1 hour old. And so we're just lying. And again, I didn't push it to
complain.
Just left it. I was like, I'm glad to be at the hospital. I don't want to deal with this anymore.
You just want to leave. You just want to leave. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that, Sister Robbie. Thank you. Right, this is Love Hearts. This is one of my followers in Egypt. Thank you so much. Thank you. All the way from Egypt, girls are getting love hearts. That's amazing. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, next reader. I think, is that you, Em?
Oh, funnily enough, people of the same ethnicity like to stick to the book, which isn't sticking to the book, it's being abusive. Wow. They do this all because they don't want to be seen as favoring. Yes. I also think it's a matter of not being able to be persecuted or targeted or said anything about because you've gone off the book or you've given someone personal care.
Okay.
However, will in a person who isn't the same complexion and they miraculously know how to care for people. Seems like Cameron's going in,
yeah. Wow. No, I mean, but it's true. It's true. You know,
but I guess it all stems back to that whole institutional.
Yeah. I mean,
racism, isn't it?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, definitely. But this is the thing. You know, I don't really want to take it there, but it's always this battle, isn't it? Like you tend to find when you go into maternity care, and you know, but again, sometimes we do take someone's cultural background as being a little bit pushy, a little bit, you know, over the top kind of thing, whereas some people are a bit more on the gentle side, and you know, that's just their nature and that's just their way, in a sense. Whereas a lot of the midwives that I dealt with many years ago, from the hospital that I was talking about, they were a lot older. They'd probably had a lot more experience. Some of them probably almost retiring, so they're tired already. Who knows? But then it's just like, I know what I'm doing. I've been a midwife for so many years. I do this all day, every day. I haven't got the patience to be like, you know, that lovely lady where Ems has been having babies, you know. It's like, all right, darling, whatever you want, love, want a cup of tea, with that, you know what I mean? I'm here for you, love. You know, I was like, it's just sometimes personalities, sometimes demographics, sometimes. And a lot of the times, right, we have to remember these are human beings, and human beings bring personal problems to work.
That's true, sis.
They bring personal problems to work, ladies. You know, they bring personal problems to work. So Simply Icam says, hey ladies, where is the like button? YouTube needs this. I don't know. Like, hit the like and hit the like, guys. Hit the like, guys. Yes, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please feel free to hit the subscription button. Hit the subscribe button. I'll be here. You never know. You might be my next guest. Who knows? I might be hitting you up, hey, to tell your birth story. We're going to be doing a lot more of that. I'm definitely going to be doing a lot more of that. Getting women on, let's hear the birth stories, let's hear what's happening to women as individuals, let's hear what's happening to us as a group, as a community, as a body. So definitely, thank you, Simply Icam. Hit the like button. I wish I could do all that bell stuff. Ding! Did you hear that? Let's make one up, yeah? Okay, all right, moving on. Grace says, at Simply Icam, you can like this video just as normal. Oh wow, look, I found it. I hit the like button. Lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. I think Sister Robs, I think you're up for this one.
Okay, Princess says this topic needs to be discussed a lot more with new young mums before they go into hospital, etc. Knowledge is power, 100%.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Thank you, Princess Elizabeth. Yeah. And that's what we've been discussing here. I mean, you know, inducing a woman at 39 weeks is not going to solve any problems. It's not going to solve any issues. Okay, no. It's not going to change what she's going through. It's not going to change. The baby's not going to come any quicker. All right. One thing I'll share this, and something I found out during my research on my journey for my first VBAC was that you also, so I think I've got a comment up here, 1 second. You also have to know your menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle is very, very, very important to when your baby's actually going to be delivered. Okay, so I'm not sure if my sisters here are familiar with this information, but when I was doing my research on ensuring that I have a successful VBAC, I knew that I had to wait it out. But apart from waiting it out, I had to know, okay, so when could my time actually be? You know, am I going to be 40 weeks? Am I going to be 42? Am I going to be 39? Whatever. So understanding that. So when I went on to doing some research and quite a lot of reading, I found that depending on how long your menstrual cycle is actually determines on roughly when you have your baby. Naturally, when the baby actually comes out. So if you have a 28-day, a 26-week cycle, you're more close to that 38, 39-week period. Right, okay. If you have a 28-week cycle, you're more close to that 39, 40-week period. Right. If you have anything above 30, you're going on 42 plus weeks. Okay, class is overdue, but you're not really overdue. Your body, it's not overdue. Okay, it's not overdue. So if you've been having, if you know you have a 26-week cycle, and baby comes at like 38, 39 weeks, it wasn't premature. It's not early. 37 weeks is not. That's the time the baby's supposed to come. It's bang on. You know, but again, a lot of women don't know this information. So when you hit 39, 40, you're like, oh, I want this baby to come out now. You know, it's been 40 weeks on full term. However, your menstrual cycle at 28 weeks is not the same as someone else at 32 that has a 32-day cycle. Sorry, so she could be delivering at 42 plus, and for her that's normal. But the institution will say she's overdue. Let's induce her. Okay, so that's if you didn't know that information, that's definitely something you might want to look up. You might want to write down. And understanding your body a lot more, okay? Because we've said knowledge, Princess Elizabeth just said it, knowledge is power. Once you know these things, you're tracking your ovulation, you're tracking all these kind of things, you're knowing when certain things are happening and taking place in your body, you know, you begin to be a lot, you know, you begin to have some kind of strength and trust in the process, is what I say. You trust the process. You have to trust the process, ladies. Trust the process. Hashtag trust the process. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Thank you.
And even on that, I was going to say for my irregular cycle, ladies,
go.
Obviously,
this is your irregular. Listen, she got you on this one. I'm going to make her big screen for this one. Take it, Ebs.
I was going to say for my regular cycle, ladies, you may not know, it's the same situation. That's why obviously they give you that time frame. They give you those 4 weeks from, they say that, okay, yeah, from 37 to 42 is when that is your window. So they give you that whole month. Yeah, they'll say, oh, 1st of January is your due date. But and you'll sit there and you'll get to, 30th of December. Oh, yeah, baby should come tomorrow. And that's not an exact science. Even they know that's not an exact science. And that's why they have that window of 37 to 40 plus 2 weeks. So that whole month is that time, that any time during that month is when your period could come. So any time during that month is when your baby could come, basically. So I think they like to build up this anxiety and, I'm waiting for 1st of January. And then 1st of January comes, you start to get worn down. You think it's the end, I should be finished. And I think mentally that plays a part on your body as well. You're kind of like, all right, let's get this out of me. Or let's give you a sweep. Let's, tease the cervix. Let's do all these things to help you along. When really baby's not meant to come for another week and a half. Baby's not meant to come for another 2 weeks.
That's right.
My son, I was two weeks overdue, and they were kind of like, we need to induce you. We need to get this done. You're 2 weeks overdue now. There's a high mortality rate. And I was like, well, if he's not coming, he's not ready to come, clearly. And they were like, well, no. And I said, okay, well, you're 2 weeks overdue. And that's when they start saying that you need to start getting, once you go over 2 weeks, they say you need to start getting, either if you're not going to be hospitalized and induced, which I said, nope, I'm definitely not doing. They said, all right, well, it will be escalated. So first you need to have checks every day. You need to go in and see a midwife every single day. And I was like, well, that's highly unlikely. That's not happening. And then it was like, well, if you're not going to do that, then we have to you're not going to do that, then you have to be hospitalized, and we have to, if you go over, I think, a certain amount, then we have to get social service and care involved and all this kind of thing. And I was like, well, these are the same people who are saying this is not a viable uterus and you can abort until 9 months and you're fighting for this. These are the same medical professional and medical field who are arguing that, oh no, a baby isn't a baby until it's born and doesn't have rights and all of this. And you're panicking, and I'm sitting here like, well, the baby's going to come when the baby's ready. And when the baby comes, the baby's going to come. And literally, I think she was like, all right, well, I have to pass you on to my senior then if you're not going to take this advice and blah, blah, blah.
If you're not going to concede, if you're not going to bow down and
I have to pass you on to my senior, blah, blah, blah. I said, all right, well then that's fine, no problem. Do as you will. And I went into labor the next day, and 2 hours, whole labor, he was out. 2 hours.
Wow.
And I was like, imagine if you had me in a hospital bed 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, forcing me, giving me fake contractions and all that. He wasn't ready to come. When he was ready to come, he came quick. But he was not ready to come. And another thing, they were like, oh, you can't go to the birth center because you're high risk and now you're overdue and you can't. No, I went to the birth center, I pulled up, and my midwife was there. She was like, hi, are you all right, love? And I was like, yeah, I'm all right, I'm in labor. And literally was out in 2 hours. And she was like, oh, that was quick, love, you go home now.
And you know what, even Sis Emma, just to just kind of close up on that point, your labor was quick. And it didn't even take so long because baby was ready for the process.
Yeah, your body was ready.
Both ready. The body was ready and everything. And even that's what I found out. The similar thing with me with my last pregnancy. I knew my times, I knew my days. The due date, he came on the due date. Labels like 3.5 hours. Done. You know, and this is why we are saying you really begin. You have to start to know, ladies. Thank you, ladies, so much, so much.
100%.
Let's keep it moving. So Simply I Cameron said, so true at Princess E. Grace says agreed. Sister Emma, this one's yours.
We also need a one-stop shop of info, especially around cultural differences around giving birth. This is because choices around beliefs, etc. Some Black medics jump on power trips and have judgmental hats on. Yeah, this is one. I think the same midwife, the same lady, the birth center, the most amazing midwife I've come across. She was the one who actually told me that they want me to put you down as high risk because your last baby was 10 pounds and he's over a certain spectrum, and they have this little chart. And she was like, this chart is so annoying. It annoys me every time I have to deal with this chart, because women of your ethnicity generally do have bigger babies.
Right.
And she was like, then women of my ethnicity, her Caucasian or European descent, we do have babies within this chart. However, women of Southeast Asian, and they do have babies that are below the chart, 5-6 pounds, and that's their normal rate. So you have a baby, and they'll say, well, you're now a high risk because your baby's big and it's over 8 pounds, and it's in the big category and on the big side, so now you're at risk for having a larger baby, when no, this is your normal. And and now a woman from Southeast Asia will have a baby that's 5.5 pounds, and they'll say, oh no, her baby's too small. Well, no, that's her limit of her.
Yeah, that's right. That's
exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So she was like, obviously they carry smaller. They tend to be smaller in Southeast Asia. So literally, if they have a 5-pound baby, then that is their normal to that's fine for them. Whereas if you have a 10-pound baby, that's maybe you're normal. So she was like, I don't know why they've put down here as there's this disease of swelling that you can get at birth, and she had put that in my notes, and she was like, I don't know why the aftercare, this was the postnatal midwife, she was like, I don't know why she's done that. I delivered the baby was fine, there was no swelling. And she was like, you can especially see the swelling in the hands, they're abnormal and they look giant, and that was not what this was at all. So she was kind of like, that's annoying, I don't know why they've put that in there, that's silly of them. And she was just kind of like, these are things that are not being addressed. No one would know this. Someone would now go on and think, oh yeah, I had an abnormally large pregnancy or had an abnormally small pregnancy based on this chart that is catered for a certain race or a certain remit of ladies, and you don't come under that category. So because you don't, you'll now be treated as high risk, or you'll now be taken out of that as someone who's not fitting into their small little box. So I think that's a very important point of knowing and identifying with culture, different races, different beliefs, and not knowing what you're looking at, just trying to fit everyone into the same chart.
Definitely. I mean, even Princess ended up to finish her statement, especially when dealing with young Black mums and their preconceived ideas. Thank you so much for that, Princess. Sister Robs?
Grace says, how sad. It's not that they don't want children, but they don't want to go through that experience again. I guess that was referring to what we were speaking about earlier.
You can read this one as well then.
Princess says, someone she knows was threatened with social services involved and child neglect because a 3-day-old baby had a mark on their face. It was a birthmark. The mum was asked if she had hit her child. Head nurse and all sorts got involved, and baby was taken away for tests. However, the midwife who was at the birth happened to be visiting the ward, and the lady told her what was happening. Then she said, where's it gone? Then she said, it's written on the birthing notes that it's a birthmark. Why didn't they look at the notes? The person who red flagged the issue was white. She had so many questions to ask about the family. The midwife involved in the birthing finally challenged them to look at the birthing notes and found out it was a birthmark that had been logged at birth. The mum was then told by the whole white team that they were just concerned because her children were close in age and she lived in an area of poverty in London. She is Black.
I'm sorry. That's just, I don't even know what to say. I mean, this is what we're talking about. this is what we're talking about.
Racially profiled at his finest.
Racially
Yeah.
profiling. Oh my God, I don't even know. I mean, if that was, and you know what? Princess Elizabeth, did your friend go on to complaining? Did she go on to suing? Did she call a solicitor? Did she? Do you see what we're talking about here?
Same
And
thing.
these are the points that we made. These are the points that we've been making. We are experiencing certain things, ladies. It's time to speak up. We shouldn't be having these type of things anymore, because if they want to come and start saying, oh, we want to make certain rules and regulations to benefit you, how about we make some rules and regulations to really benefit us? Okay. Which is things like that need to get taken up further. Situations that many of us have experienced and deal with. You can't be, asked to make a 3-day report after giving birth to a child. These things should automatically be logged, or give her a dictaphone to speak into, or something. Do you know what I mean? But it's just the lack of consideration. Why would a new mum? I mean, I can't say why would a new mum, because we know there are women out there who do, experience those things and who do those things. However, the fact that, which is the last statement here, she has 3 children close in age. She lives in an area of poverty in London, and she is a woman of color. 3 things that could make them think already
there's an issue.
She's got issues. She's abusive. She's not handling motherhood so well. Is she hitting these children? Do you get what I mean? And then it now ripples down to the other 2, the other younger siblings. The younger children who are probably being well loved and well looked after. And then now they go on the system, and it just creates a whole mess. And then again, it's that birth experience that's supposed to be amazing, wonderful, just snatched away from you. Why? Why? Thank you, Princess, so much for sharing that. We appreciate that so much. And we really pray that your friend, everything kind of worked out and she's blessed. And again, and this is what I'm saying. It's like, there's so much testimonies out there of things that are taking place, and so many of us do have things that we should be sharing, and we should be, saying, in a sense, and not just keeping stories like these to yourselves, because, when you've experienced certain things, you kind of push to make sure that the outcome isn't the same again, or even if it's not the same again for you, it's not the same again for somebody else. Right? So yes, thank you so much. Grace says, at Princess, wow, on that story. Simply I Can Win says, what a disappointing story. And the chart was not made for me, so the chart should not be used to measure me or mine. Listen, I remember when Ezekiel and I was pregnant with Grace, and the doctor looked at me straight in the face. I'm going to zoom in on this one. And was like, Sarah, you ain't pushing that baby out.
Wow.
Imagine.
Baby's too big. Straight away. I think I was like 36 weeks. I think there were 36 weeks when they told me that.
Wow.
They said to me, you're not pushing that baby out. And I was like, her dad's pretty large too. Yeah, he's a big man. Convinced myself on that one. I think I convinced myself on that one. No. All jokes aside. I remember Ezekiel was there with me, and he was like, he's a big fella, isn't he? Like, do you know what I mean? She was like, he's a really big fella, and they were like, your baby's big. Don't think you're pushing that out. The pelvis is a bit small. Put all of these things into my head. So when I got to, to the time they were like, oh yeah, we're inducing you. I was just like, like when you're just pulling along, you're just following the string, the string that they've given you. Because when I was 36 weeks and I went for one of my last appointments, they said to me, that baby's not coming out naturally, and like I said, if only I'd known better, if only I was more well informed, if only the education that I had was a lot more developed at the time in pregnancy. And I think Princess made that point as well. Princess made that point and saying that women, especially first-time moms, do need to be educated. So
but just to come back to like the whole racial profiling thing, it feels like there's this whole big circle going on where one, like it's a domino effect where one thing's affecting another in terms of race. So
Yeah.
for example, we've shared that our bad experiences haven't necessarily been from white people. It hasn't been from the Caucasian community in terms of our care. In fact, we've actually seen the opposite, where our care has seemed to be better without with people of color not being there. And it's like people could be like, so how is that racist? Come on, like that's proof it's not racist. But going back to what Simply I Can Win said about, you know, are people trying to stick to the book because it's a fear of being what's the word? Discriminated. Like there's already a fear in the workplace of being discriminated because of the color. So it's like I'm not doing anything wrong for me to now have any excuse to be fired
out of line.
Because there's already a unlevel playing field when it comes to the workplace. So then where we've experienced unequal care because of their fear of being racially profiled, and then there's this just big circle of, you know, racism going around because of the foundations that have been laid in the media of, you know, if you're black, you don't get the same opportunities. Like like it's very well known to people of color that there hasn't been equal opportunities for us. But if that was eradicated, I think there would be better care from people of color in the community, in hospitals, etc., in schools. Like there'd be better care because it's like, oh, I can. It's not that I have to favor you because we're from the same place. It's just I'm going to give you my best because you're human. And I don't see color. I just see you as a human, and I see a baby that needs caring. Rather than I gotta make sure I don't show favor, so I gotta be hard and, you know, do as I say. But I do think that there is a core issue of racism which has had a negative effect on so many other areas. And if we did just see each other as human beings, we'd be talking about something different today. We'd be like, the sun's lovely outside. Like, we'd be talking about something else.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much.
Even with your pregnancy, Sarah, I think I remember one of the main things that the midwife who was brown kept on saying was, they're not going to let you push this baby out. They're not going to let you have a BBAC. They won't allow this to happen. And even if it felt like, even if she wanted to be supportive, even if she felt, oh, you know what, your faith's going to carry you if you want to, no problem, or I'm going to stand with you. The one thing she was saying is, they're not going to allow you to do this. They're calling the doctors now. They're calling the consultants now. They're going to send in a whole team of people. And it was a lot of there. And it was almost like fear on her part, like, okay. And she was sitting there like watching the monitor, watching the screen. And obviously, they're taught that VBACs are risky and VBACs are this. And as a midwife, your senior is the doctors, the consultants, the surgeons. And literally, Sarah kind of had a whole team come in by her bedside and was like, blah, blah, blah. And the midwife, I almost felt as in, she was almost like as in, I'm not getting in trouble for this. I warned her. I tried to tell her, please don't chastise me. And it was kind of like, that was the one thing when we told her, and she was just kind of like, they're not going to let you do this. They're not going to let you have the VBAC. They're not going to let you push this baby out. They're going to give you a C-section. They was the one thing that kept on coming out of her mouth. I didn't once hear, I think you should, or is this a choice because of what do you feel? Do you know what I mean? And I feel like from what Robbie said, that is where it may come from, where it can seem more, I'm being mean to you and we should be stick together because we're both brown. It's no, I'm not getting in trouble.
I'm not
this.
getting
I'm not
it.
Taking the fall.
That's right. Yeah, I'm taking a stand back. Yeah. Definitely. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you. Wow. I mean, I was just putting a few things up on the screen there for anyone who really kind of wanted to go back and read some of the things that we're talking about here. We're not making this stuff up. You can go and read the report on the website over there. That's the address. That's the web address for the particular article that has driven this conversation today. Okay, it's there on the screen. And also there's an article that you can go and read again that tells us why induction at 39 weeks is not a good idea. So if you don't want to take it from us, you actually want to hear it from professionals, people who wear the coat, who've gone to school for it. They're here and they're saying these things. That's the web address for that particular topic there as well. Okay, I am going to put the links in I will put the links in the description. I'll put the links in the description as well. And just wrapping up on this, currently elective inductions of labour is not routinely recommended before 49 weeks of gestation, since it was widely assumed to increase cesarean section rates. Okay, again, we've spoken about that, and many of us know that these things are, inductions can cause C-sections. So we're gonna leave it here. We're on that mark now. Okay, I just want to thank everyone so much for joining us here. I want to thank Robbie. I want to thank Emma. I want to thank all of you that have been here on the platform with us. Yes, we've hit that 2-hour mark. Wow. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. I really just want to appreciate my ladies here. I want to appreciate all of you. And we will be back. We will be back with more stories, with more topics and more things to discuss. And I really hope you've enjoyed yourselves. You ladies want to quickly say bye-bye before I end the stream?
See you later, guys. It's been amazing. I really
Bye.
enjoyed it. Thank you so much for facilitating this, Says. It's been amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Says, for having this. As Lady Princess Chomonga says, education is important, and I feel like we should be equipping each other and educating each other about this. It's important to know before you go ahead and just go in blindly. So thanks. It was lovely. I enjoyed it.
Thank you, ladies. All right, everyone, I will see you again. See you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
All right, bye. Thank you. Ding, ding, ding. You know, that whole ding, ding, ding.
Hit the like, hit the subscribe.
That's it. All right, guys, take care.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much. God bless you all.
Bye.